James's old blue pickup truck rumbled along the empty road, its headlights cutting through the thick fog and rain. He'd just finished his late shift at the factory and was heading home. Damn. The clock ticked past midnight. Most folks would have called it a night long ago, but James was just getting home. As he rounded a bend, he saw a woman standing at the bus stop. A little boy clung tightly to her, his small body shaking in the cold. Her clothes were soaked, and her face was as pale as the moon. Her eyes darted around nervously, as if she were afraid of being followed. James debated whether to stop. On one hand, he didn't want to get involved. On the other, he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Slowing down, he rolled past the bus stop. Just as he did, the boy coughed violently, his tiny arms tightening around his mother's waist. A pang shot through James's heart. He quickly turned the wheel and pulled over. "Do you need help?" he asked softly, lowering the car window. The woman hesitated, clutching her son protectively in front of her. Her lips trembled, but she nodded. "Please, we just need to get away." Her voice cracked with exhaustion. James opened the door. "Get in," he said gently. That night changed James's life forever. The woman's name was Anna, and the boy's name was Daniel. Over the next few days, they told James their story. They had fled from Anna's abusive husband, was a powerful man, well-connected and dangerous. He had beaten Anna and tried to take their son away from her. So she had made a plan and escaped. James listened, his heart heavy with sympathy. He knew he couldn't offer much, but he drove them to his small, modest home and gave them a warm meal and a safe place to rest. His house was humble, but it was filled with warmth and kindness. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, Anna began to open up. She spoke of her happy childhood, her dreams for the future, and her fears for her son. She had once lived in a big house, but behind those grand walls was constant fear and misery. Her husband controlled everything. He wouldn't let her work or earn her own money. He isolated her from friends and family. When she tried to leave, he threatened to take Daniel away. James, a simple man who had lost his wife years ago, felt a deep sense of responsibility towards them. He wasn't wealthy, but he shared what little he had. He found odd jobs to buy food, and he fixed up the spare room for Daniel. He taught the boy how to ride a bicycle and do his first baseball trick. Slowly, laughter returned to Daniel's eyes. But something unusual lingered about the boy. James often saw him clutching a small, old leather pouch. He never let it out of his sight. One day, while fixing a leaky roof, James nearly slipped. Daniel, though just a child, shouted, "Careful, James," and rushed to help. The pouch fell from the boy's hand and spilled out onto the ground, revealing a handful of papers and a shiny golden key. James picked one up. It was a bank certificate listing millions in Daniel's name. Anna's face turned pale when she saw James holding the papers. Tears filled her eyes as she explained the truth. Before Daniel was born, my late father, an old businessman, set aside his fortune for his grandson. He wanted Daniel to be safe, no matter what. My husband tried to control it, but he never found the documents. I kept them hidden, even from him. James's heart pounded in his chest. Suddenly, everything made sense. The desperation in Anna's eyes, the fear that clung to her like a shadow. They weren't just running from an abusive husband. Anna had been protecting her son's legacy. But their problems weren't over. Soon, Anna's husband found them. One evening, James came home to find several strange men waiting outside his house. Anna panicked, clutching Daniel close. "They're here for us," she whispered, her voice trembling. With a mix of courage and quick thinking, James scared off the men. He called the police, and with the help of a neighbor, chased the men away. Shaken but safe, Anna realized she couldn't hide anymore. With James's support, she went to court. She presented the evidence of her husband's abuse and Daniel's rightful inheritance. It was a long and emotionally draining battle. But James stood by her every step of the way, offering strength when she felt weak. In the end, justice prevailed. Anna was granted full custody of Daniel. Her husband lost all parental rights, and the fortune remained untouched for Daniel's future. Years passed. Daniel grew into a confident young man. At his high school graduation, he gave a speech. Looking into the crowd, he smiled at James and said, "I once thought I had nothing, but then I met someone who gave me everything. A home, love, and the chance to dream again." James, you're the family we never knew we needed." The audience applauded, and James, holding back tears, knew that the true fortune wasn't in banks or gold, but in the love and trust that bound them together.